And it's good news with Dick Baumbach. I'm Jeff Heiser here with Mr. Baumbach, bringing us the good news for the week. How are you, Mr. Baumbach?
I am doing great, and I am just so happy to be sharing good news with you and TNR listeners.
You know, I have to tell you a little bit about our contest that's going on. Boy, this past week did we have some close calls.
Well, that's what we need.
I think some of the people are a little confused on the rules, though. So you want to go over?
Sure. Well, first of all, our relatives cannot participate.
That's Baumbachs and Heisers can't participate.
But what this is these stories were good news stories that ran previous years. And if somebody contacts us and lets us know what year those stories were, and they're the first ones, they will get an Apple gift card.
You know, we had a couple of callers this past week that gave us the month and the story, but they couldn't get the year. So
what can I tell you?
We were a little off. If you're listening, here's your last opportunity to try and win the Apple gift card. And we're going to kick off our day today with good news about Picasso police horse paints in his spare time.
And you're not believing this, are you?
No, I'm not.
Well, this is, and he's still painting, by the way. This is story broke. It's out of St. Petersburg Police Department in Florida.
St. Petersburg, Florida, right here?
Yeah, right here. And Jacob is the horse, and he uses different paints, and Officer Jason uses his trainer, and he said Jacob just likes to paint, and he accidentally happened to see paint one day with his nose, and he started doing it, and they now have pictures that Jacob did.
Now, how does the horse paint?
I knew you would ask that. What he does is he uses his face and one of his paws, and he makes different images. I mean, they're not
right,
but they makes different images, different colors, and they have, initially the police department didn't believe what he was doing, but they watch him, and he does it all the time.
Wow! Now, was his grandfather Mr. Ed?
I don't know.
For those that don't know, Mr. Ed could actually talk.
That
he was
is
the talking
good.
horse.
That is good.
Oh gosh! On to the next story. CEO who set minimum wage at $70K is swamped with business now, and I know this story. This is such a good story.
Yes, and this story broke. When it broke, and we're not going to say when, but when it broke, everybody said, this guy is crazy. His name is Dan Price, and he has gravity payments. And he decided that he was paying every single employee, $70,000 a year. And he slashed his own annual pay from $1 million to do this. And everybody said, this is not going to fly. Well, as we know, gravity has literally taken off.
Yep.
And again, he didn't do it to say, hey, I think this is the way to do it. He just wanted to pay back his employees.
Right. Now, I got to go here. So I got to ask you this question. You know, our current president is not taking a salary.
Right.
Do you think he's going to bump up the minimum wage to $70,000?
That would be good. I mean, I'm sure there'd be a lot of people out there who are very happy about that.
Here, you heard it first here. No, he's not doing it.
Man.
In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd like to totally do away with it.
Yeah. Oh, and just back on this gentleman here. He has, since this story first came out, he has now had over 9,000 applications to work for him.
Holy smokes.
Well, I do that.
I mean, yeah, I would, yeah.
Why not?
Why not? The next good news story that we have for today is winner of boat hands over keys to less fortunate fishermen.
And again, this is going back to people helping people and people not thinking. Fred McMahon, he won a fishing competition in Jasper, Texas, and he was given a tri-ton bass boat because it was a drawing. And he noticed that there was a gentleman, that Albert Jenkins, that couldn't go out on the boat for this competition, just sat on the dock. So when he got the keys, he walked over to Albert and said, "Here, this is now your boat."
Wow.
I know.
that just gave me chills.
But it's like,
yeah.
And he said, and Fred says, "I didn't do it for the attention. I just wanted to help out Albert."
Wow. Now, does it say if he knew this guy by any chance?
He did not know him.
He didn't know him. He just gave him the keys and said, "Here you go."
Because everybody else was out in their boat trying to win the competition, and
wow,
it was Albert.
That's a really good feel good story. The next one kind of leaves me wondering about this. Love to Aurora.
Yeah, we remember when the Love to Aurora campaign started, and again, we won't say the year, but it attracted celebrities and actors like a guy named Cullen Douglas, and they decided that they wanted to, because of what happened in Aurora,
mm-hmm.
and so Cullen talked to friends that are in the industry, and they started this campaign, and it just went all over the place. And Cullen said, it's, we get involved. It wasn't driven by publicists. It was just driven because we want to make sure the people of Aurora know that we care for them.
Wow. That's a really heartwarming story right there, because so many times they get such bad raps for things that they do, things that they say.
Exactly.
The way they act. But this here is good. And you know what? I don't remember seeing that on the news. I really don't.
Well, it's interesting. It took over Facebook for several weeks, and it took over Twitter. But the only place that I remember seeing it is there was about a 2-minute segment on Fox.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a 2-minute segment about.
It's sad, actually. It really is. So you want to remind our listeners about the contest? This is the last week for it.
That's right. And so if you could contact either me at spacecoastcityguide@gmail.com and tell us what year these stories occurred. If you are the first one, you will get a Apple gift card. And they can also contact you, Jeff, at
here at Talk Network Radio at info@talknetworkradio.com. Now, we do have a few rules.
Yeah.
The Baumbachs and the Heisers can't participate.
That's true.
And you have to get the year right, not the month right.
Right, exactly.
And if you give us the month in the wrong year, you're still wrong.
Exactly.
It has to be the right year.
Yeah, it has to be the right year. And hopefully, the winners will be happy, and we'll see. And what we're trying to show is that good news has been going on for a long time.
Very long time. Well, Mr. Baumbach, it's always a pleasure having you here at the studio talking about good news. And until next week, have yourself a wonderful week.
You too. Have a great, good week.